This program is dedicated to the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces, past, present, and future. I'm Keith Warren. I'm a hunter.
Talk about dumping him on his butt.
A fisherman.
Wow! Shark fishing with a topwater.
A conservationist.
Don't be bashful. Come on out.
A family man.
Woo, baby.
And I'm proud to be a deer farmer. I'm taking a road trip, and we're going behind the scenes of today's most innovative deer farmers and wildlife management operations in North America. This is Deer and Wildlife Stories. Welcome to South Texas and to the famous brush country, where years ago they used to kill more Boone and Crockett deer here than any other place in the Lone Star State. This week, we're smack dab in the middle of nowhere, 16 miles from Freer. We've never been down here with Deer and Wildlife Stories, and we're going to show you how they grow great big bucks down in South Texas. Today's show is going to be special. I promise you, you're going to see more big bucks, big, framey, pretty, typical bucks down here in South Texas on this program today than we've ever shown on Deer and Wildlife Stories.
My name is SHILOH SOSA with Seven Seas Whitetails, and we're just outside of Freer, Texas. The Seven Seas Ranch is located between Ensenada, Texas and Freer, Texas in the South Texas brush country, prestige whitetail deer country. This area is known to raise big deer. The region is perfect terrain for growing native brush that the deer like to eat. The Seven Seas Ranch is not a commercial hunting operation. It's a private ranch just for the family and friends to hunt only. The owners of this place are infatuated with the whitetail deer and love to come out and grow big deer and see big deer roaming around in this native, pristine habitat of South Texas. So pretty much from 2001, when the family purchased this place has been intensively managed. We've put in miles of water lines. We've fed the deer cottonseed, protein, pretty much a deer heaven. We're consistently shooting about 5 180s to 200-inch deer every year, and that's a remarkable deer. But today, that's not what we're after anymore. We're after bigger. We want to see bucks walking around there 250 class inch. We want to see big, wide bucks, 200-inch frames with 50 inches of extras. So the only way that we knew we could make this happen was by bringing in a deer breeding program and maximizing our genetics in a pen operation full release onto the ranch. And we're out to raise the biggest deer there is. And the only way we knew we could do it was by jam-packing it with the best genetics from north to south and seeing what works best for us. And we're starting to see some good impacts in that operation. Even though our ranch is 32,000 acres and we've got an abundance of deer, we're very strict on the management criteria. The way we see it, if we're feeding 1,000 head of animals, why not feed 1,000 head of the best animals? Because it costs just the same to feed a low-end quality deer versus a high-end quality deer. So we've made the best pairings we can genetically to grow those big antlers, and we're manipulating that in pens and using management practices with deer management pens through Texas Parks and Wildlife and breeding operation, and we're turning all that into one big management property, and we're gonna grow the biggest we can. So we've been breeding for 6 years now, and it's working. We like it. The ranch is 32,000 acres, so when a lot of people think in high fence situations, thinking a pen, well, we are a pen, but we're a monstrosity pen. It's 18 miles long, so it's not like they're entrapped. What I really love about this industry, very family oriented. My family's very close. It's enabled me to I have a daughter that's a year old, and already she's in the pens with us every day. If we need to do something in the pen, she can be there. We're throwing peanuts. She's squawking at the deer because she can't talk yet. Pretty soon they'll all have names. You know, she's been on my back when I've darted deer. She's been on her mom's back when we ran deer through the chute. So, and she'll grow up around that. And I grew up around working cattle and raising horses and hunting and stuff like that, and watching the management side of things. Now into the breeding industry, we're able to do this every day with our daughter. We'll have more kids that will do this, and they'll go on and they'll raise their family the same way. And I think as long as we keep family oriented associations and industries and stuff where we can all act as a family, it doesn't get any better. And that's just one of the things I love about this industry.
If you like the way our show looks on your television set, you're gonna absolutely love it when you see it in full HD online. And you can watch it on our website 24/7 free of charge at keithwarren.net. Take a look and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so who is this one?
This right here is a buck we call Big Boy. He's pretty much our founding father. He was the first breeder buck we started with.
Okay.
He's 9 years old.
Wow.
And he's not bottle fed. He's just gentle. Normally he'll eat out of my hand. He throws sons that way, his daughters are that way. He's been a remarkable producer for us, those wide sons. His daughters are really putting them on the ground now. So right now he's the granddaddy of them all.
Okay, so you got semen out of him for sale?
I do.
All right.
I have semen out of him for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, look at you got the fawns up here eating peanuts too.
Oh yeah. You know, his fawns are gentle, he's gentle.
Wow. But that right there is the founding father.
That's our man, that's our stud.
That's pretty cool right there. Okay, so what you're gonna see, we're going to take you around and show you the rest of the deer farm out here at Seven Seas. And I promise you, I've never seen anything like it. These deer are the prettiest, big, framiest deer of any farm I've been to. And I mean, I've been to a bunch of them, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Big, framey, pretty deer. Now, you're gonna have to drive all the way down to Freer, Texas to find this place, but it's worth coming. All right, so who's this deer? Good gosh, how wide is he?
Bro, well, last year at 2, he was 26 and a half inside. We're really thinking this year, I think he's gonna be close to 30.
I promise you. I mean, that is an unbelievable deer. And how old is he?
He's 3.
No way.
3-year-old, yes.
Really?
Yes, sir.
See what I'm talking about pretty typical framey deer? That's an unbelievable deer right there. Goodness gracious.
Yes, sir, and we're pretty pleased with some of the fawns we got on the ground at him this year. They're bred some special does, so I think they're gonna be some nice ones.
Okay, so you've got semen out of him too?
Absolutely.
All right. They got a lot of big deer here. I mean, a lot of big deer. And that deer right there, bro, now that's not B-R-O, is it?
It's B-R-E-A-U-X.
That is one heck of a big old buck right there. You know, I want to tell y'all something. This is unlike any deer farm I've ever been to in my entire life. The number one goal, the absolute number one goal out of all this is just to produce the biggest deer possible to live on 30,000 acres of a sea of thorn and brush. So let's go look at some more deer, man.
Let's do it.
One of the main things that deer farmers have to contend with anywhere they are in the country are insects, primarily flies and midge gnats. And one way to take care of that is with misting systems. This is a misting system. Tell them basically how it works and why.
Well, pretty much every year we're faced with EHD, and that's epizootic hemorrhagic disorder. And that's a big threat to our deer industry. And a couple of years ago, guys started spraying pins and fogging them. And then the Deer Guardian system came out last year, and when I heard about it, we had it installed immediately, and we went from flies all over and bugs to zilch. So I think it's created a more stress-free environment. There's less flies on top of the deer, making them twitch, run around, aggravation, ants, and then of course we're knocking those midges back. We're real blessed with this system, and it's just worked awesome since we've put it in our program. Right now we've got approximately 470 head of bucks, does, and fawns. That's a lot of animals to keep up with. I'm pretty intense on my record keeping. I think that's probably the most important factor in the whole deer breeding operation is records, and a lot of people will preach that. I definitely preach that. It starts off with the sheet notepad and my pencil, and from day one the fawn's born to where he's at now. Once we go from paper, we go to the computer, and I think that without the GMS program, which I use daily, I would be lost. Every deer's pedigree's input in there, every deer's DNA number is put in there, his unique number, where he's at, where he came from, did he go to a soft release pen, did I use him in a DMP pen, is he on the ranch? Whatever it is, I can go to the computer, I can open up GMS, and I can tell you everything you need to know about that deer, and some that you probably don't even care to know, because I just am very critical on my record keeping. So GMS has made my life grand.
It's time for viewer feedback, brought to you by winadeerfarm.com, presented by High Roller Whitetails. This is from Jerry Quinn. He's from Florida. Says, I've been watching your deer farming show now for a long time, and I want to win that deer farm in that Win a Deer Farm sweepstakes. I see you advertise it all the time, but I don't know how to enter, so how about helping me out? You should tell folks how to enter. Thanks, Jerry Quinn. Jerry, we do tell people how to enter, and it's real simple. If you want to win a deer farm, if you want to register to win a deer farm, all you got to do is absolutely free. Now, we're not giving away the land, but we're giving away everything else to have a deer farm. All you need to do is go online to winadeerfarm.com and register, and somebody, we're going to give them every single thing it takes to set them up in the deer farm. And Jerry, it just may be you. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you in part by the American Deer and Wildlife Alliance, Deer Guardian Misting Systems, DNA Solutions, and the North American Deer Registry, Four Canyons Ranch, Hoff Power Polaris, the Hunter Heritage Foundation, and Record Rack Deer Feeds. All right, so how old are these bucks?
The majority of this group right here is 4-year-olds. There's a couple of older bucks in this pen, but right there, these ones that are coming out, those
yellow tag
4-year-olds.
Look how pretty they are, Shiloh. I mean, they're beautiful.
They're big, they're wide, but that's what we're looking for. Our ultimate goal is keeping the look in them. So we want a more typical look, but of course at the same time we want a little trash here and there. We want to keep that width. If we can keep the width and the tine length, everything else can pile on after that, and we're still maintaining a good look in the deer.
You have been doing these genetics, you've been bringing genetics in from all over the country, and you've got some phenomenal deer. But there's also a lot of deer farmers up north that want to take the Texas influence, the Texas genetics back up north. And that's really where I see your benefit to deer farmers. I mean, you're able to take these deer that are, I mean, these are hardy deer living down in this country.
Yes, sir.
And they are big, framey deer. So if somebody wants to purchase some semen from y'all, how would they go about doing it? Calling you, emailing you, what?
They can email me, or they can give me a shout on my cell phone and leave a message or whatever. Go to our website, 7seaswhitetails.com, and you can email me from there, or call me direct, 956-285-0041.
Okay, we will have a direct link from our website over to their website. Get on it and get a hold of them about that. But I hear you've got a really, really big yearling.
We have a really special yearling.
I mean, I hear he's good.
The doctor is in the house.
All right, so how old are these deer?
This is the yearling group. There's one 3-year-old in here, but the rest are all yearlings.
Wait a minute, they really are?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, all yearlings.
All yearlings.
All right, who's that right there? That great big long beam sucker.
That's the one I was telling you about. That's Witch Doctor. Yeah.
Oh, so the doctor is in the house.
The doctor is in, and the doctor is showing his thing. He's not afraid to come up. He'll come up here close too.
Okay, if somebody is interested in coming and seeing deer, would that be okay?
Absolutely. Just give me a holler on my cell phone or shoot me an email and we'll work it out. You know, we're in the middle of nowhere, so you got to kind of schedule it around a little bit. So we'll make it work, and we'd love to have people out.
This is a special place. And you know, this is in the middle of an area that in Texas that during the 50s and 60s, back before that, there were a lot of Boone and Crockett deer killed.
Absolutely.
And they're you know, 160, 170, 180 inch deer, there's nothing wrong with them. But for the owner and his family here, that just wasn't good enough. And to change out the genetics and be able to do what you're doing, I'm just like, I'm floored. You know, and I can promise you, there's people out there that are looking at this going, that ain't right, that ain't right. And you know something? I want to address that. If you're one of those people that don't think this is right, first off, thank God we have private land ownership in our country. Thank God we have people that are driving the people to do better. And I can promise you, Shiloh's boss drives him to do better. He wants bigger deer, and he's getting them. But the cool thing about all this, I mean, every one of the pens we go to, the deer are pretty. I mean, the deer here are just pretty. And so if you want to come down here, you need to be aware of it. Freer, Texas is kind of right in the middle of nowhere. Put your finger in the middle of nowhere, and that's where Freer is.
Found us.
But anyway, give Shiloh a call. And Shiloh, this is great. Thank you. But you know what? As long as we got some sunshine, I want you to show me some more bucks.
Go look at more bucks.
All
I got
right.
another pen of 2-year-olds you haven't seen yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a sick buck, and I'm going to take this Excalibur made by New Dart and go out there and medicate him. It's not feasible to really run him through, so less stress. We'll just medicate him by a dart. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this Excalibur, go out here, shoot a buck that looks like he's got an antler infection, give him a little antibiotics and a little anti-inflammatory, and see if we can get him turned around. We're using a 3cc dart. This Excalibur, it's nice, I can back it off, so he's gonna let us get pretty close, and I don't wanna hit him too hard, so we're only gonna use about 2.5 bars of pressure, and that should be just right. We got him with antibiotics. Now I'm gonna give him a dart of anti-inflammatory to help the fever and get him back down to normal temp. Well, we just started that deer with 2 darts. I think we caught him soon enough, and I think he's gonna probably be okay. We'll come back in a couple hours and see how he's doing.
Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you in part by WinADeerFarm.com, presented by High Roller Whitetails, Game Management Software, the North American Deer Farmers Association, New Dart, and Keith Warren's Texas Hidden Springs Ranch, the best value for Texas trophy deer hunting. All right, there's a lot of brush in this pen. Who are these guys here? How old are they?
This whole set's 2-year-olds.
We looking at the same deer? Okay, look, I know we're looking at the sun, but seriously, they're 2-year-old?
2-year-old. Blue tag with a 0 to start the letter off, 2010.
My goodness. Okay.
We're pretty proud of these guys.
Look how wide they are. All right, who's that now coming out? The one?
Yeah, the one that's kind of got the head tilted.
Yeah.
That's Blue Duck. He's one of our premier 2-year-olds. He's a real deal.
No, he's better than the real deal. I mean, that deer right there, look at that. I mean, his rack is just so heavy, huh?
It's heavy. You know, and here in the last couple of days, he started to really tilt it. When he comes in, he's been coming in with it tilted in a little bit. He can hold it straight, but he's a little lazy sometimes.
Goodness gracious. Look at the size of that. And that's Blue Duck.
That's Blue Duck.
Who are those guys?
Another set of 2-year-olds.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I look at their bodies and I think, I'm blown away.
They're fed well.
Yeah, they're fed well. But the thing that I guess is blowing my mind, that when you walk up to them, their antlers really get big. I mean, so you wind up, I know spread is the hardest thing that whitetail breeders say that they have to contend with. I mean, they want to develop spread, width. And just about every one of these big deer I'm looking at, you've got is wide. I mean, you got it going on. What is your secret?
My secret's big boy.
Really?
No, I've gone out and tried to find those does, those special females, and paired them up with some special sires that are known for throwing width or have width in the anchor, blended them together, and we're getting width. Bushwhacker, one of our 2-year-olds that we had to knock down last week, we knew he was wide. We knew he was probably one of the widest deer ever in Texas. We thought for sure he was the widest 2-year-old. Now we're pretty sure he's the widest 2-year-old ever in existence.
And how wide?
37.5 inches.
I'm telling you, the width is the ticket. I mean, the width, and all your deer I'm looking at, they've got that width. It's something that I think a lot of guys from up north are got to be watching this, and they're envious, because how would it be to have a 30-inch whitetail? And you got them bigger than that. That's pretty awesome, man. I mean, I'm speechless.
We've stood 4 bucks in the pens in one breeding season that were over 30 inside, and I'm thinking this year there should be 5 of them. I've never heard a hunter at any time in my life say that they were too wide.
Yeah, nobody says they're too wide. Okay, so every year your deer are getting better and better, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
And it's because of genetics. It's stacking the genetics. And I'm telling you, folks, it's all in the genetics.
That's my motto. The doe, the doe, the doe, and production, production, production. You keep breeding production, good genetics, whammo. We're focused on producing deer for the ranch, but at the same time, we've got a lot to offer here. And I'd like to offer our semen out here to other breeders and select fawns and select does, and I would like to sell a few, get some of our animals on other people's farms or ranches and show them what they can do and let them prosper with our genetics too and put the width in their herd. So we started off with some dynamic older bloodlines, and we started the doe herd right there, and of course we've gone out and we've pulled those in from the best breeders we could, but all that foundation to start it off with has just rocked us. Our oldest fawn crop's 5 years old, but every year we're getting bigger and we're maintaining the look, and that's what we're after.
Coming down here to 7 Seas is really a special treat for me. because this is something different. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's something that I didn't expect to see as pretty of a deer herd as I've seen. And these bucks really are, they're great, big, framey, typical bucks. And so if anybody out there wants more information to get a hold of Shiloh SOSA with 7 C's whitetails down here out of Freer, Texas, get a pencil and paper, write down the number, get on my website. We play the videos 24/7 and watch this thing over and over again. I think you're going to be amazed at the deer that you see. And I think you're going to be amazed that a young man like Shiloh SOSA can be cut loose on a big old ranch like this and grow some big old whitetails. For more information on 7 C's whitetails, contact Shiloh SOSA at 956-285-0041. Or you can reach him via email at shiloh.sosa@schwest.com. Before you make your next Polaris purchase, you owe it to yourself to check out the #1 Polaris dealer in the country, Hoff Power Polaris. If you'd like to watch full episodes of our programs 24/7 online in full HD, log on to my website at keithwarren.net. There, you'll find the shows, but you'll also find a lot of outtakes and behind-the-scenes videos as well. That's keithwarren.net. Reproductive services for deer and wildlife stories are provided by Whitetail Genetics.